The people who run the country slash the world are the ones that create the narratives. Reading someone recently about what's all this people? How I the way in most movies today, black people are portrayed as gay. And it was like, oh, it's just something they do. And that not there's nothing that comes out of it. And in my mind I'm like, I'm not saying that oh it's bad to be gay. That's my main point. But my main point is that we see it so much this time where the media agenda and what happens in the big stages are what is going to influence the world. Eminem, I was Eminem or people I forgot it. Eminem said people are more likely to listen slash do what they see slash understand. What am I saying? I've gotten the main when the song back was first it was like you can't get to us if you don't relate, So what we learn are from rappers, not teachers. What do I mean? And that is actually a very smart part because you see these days the agenda is live in a certain way. Get bitches, do this, do that. It's just tomfoolery. That's the main agenda of this current generation. I'm not going to say and state some kind of like, oh, we could be better, we could be worse. I cannot tell you if it's wrong or right. Like, I'm not going to stay and tell you that it's wrong or right. But I want to also specify one thing. The people who run the media are the ones who can push the agenda. There are so many issues right now that are going on where that are not getting covered on things related to the number one thing, the World Cup. There are so many issues that are going on in America that during the time of the game of the World Cup in France, not in France, where's this country? In Qatar and Russia, there are a lot of like news of human rights violations and people like protesting for it and everything, and the media are covering it. But in the US, all of these things are not talked about. And I don't know why you are from where I listen to this, but if you are old enough, you would have heard stories about the things that happen in the US. From human rights to deportation slash ICE related stuff to human, I don't know, I forgot the name stuff. Human to the president of the country literally being a rapist, alleged rapist. I don't want to get attacked here, but the president of the country will be an alleged rapist. And most of the big media outlets not covering this thing. It's not because of the fact that, oh, this doesn't happen. It's because of the US have the money to cover it up. The US have the money to shut down anyone who could be promoting slash talking about this. Like there are so many things where there are so many things that happen in life where that get shut down very early. And then it's about who runs the money, who runs the money, who runs the narrative, who are the people on the top and the top. But a lot of people hate on people at the top. They say, oh, you got to the top, you do so much good for your people, but instead you are living your life in this social media. A lot of people who are not working for being a billionaire saying that you earn more longer. That is not true. If Elon Musk spends the billions on any more longer, I can give it 10 months max. World hunger will come back because of people who use the money. That's the thing about world hunger. Most of the people that are going through world hunger did not slash take use of the opportunity well. You need wealth to build more wealth. That's why a lot of people like 18 of people who let's say they have that this money. A lot of people 18 of Donald Trump saying that oh because of his parents and money that he can make it. That isn't true though. Like Donald Trump built crazy things from companies to hotels, and they had businesses that failed, multiple of them. Yes, he still stood up, stay firm, and focus on what he's doing. And you'll be like, wasn't I not hating on Donald Trump before and now? I'm talking about him. I'm not hating anymore. This is not an hate speech. This is just an explanation of what I've recognized on how the media is not pure. The media doesn't have any sort of integrity attached to it. The media is literally broadcasting what they reach. They're broadcasting what they reach wants to be broadcasted. Like, you know how crazy it is that something as crazy as the FA found, everyone was expecting, oh, so many things to be. First of all, it was trending for like a week or two, then it died out. Second of all, what's on the store? Second of all, what's second of all? Second of all, so many things were redacted. Like, a file was supposed to show us what a predator and how much of a predator, how much was involved in so many things all redacted, like so many names were redacted. Yeah, they were saying that we were trying to protect the victims. Victims' names were said, but perpetrators' names were redacted. So that now, what are you going to say? It's still the rich, like as much as you like to defend, I don't know, they don't want to speak it for the public, but I feel like that's where musicians become so popular. A lot of people love Kendrick Lamar. He's speaking for the minority, for the people who don't have a space to speak in. For people who have no one to speak for them. That's what Kendrick Lamar is doing. From songs from albums like Section 80 to Brooklyn Master, this is not a case of Kendrick Lamar. I don't know what the main point of direction of this video is, but it's just speaking on the media is controlled by the rich and the elite, and there is no way you can change that unless you are rich and elite, whether we like it or not. And at the end of the day, when you try to be rich and elite, you get hated on. But what's most important is that you do it for yourself rather than for others, because you can never achieve happiness by working for others per se. What do I mean? Look at Mr. Beast. Cody is doing so many crazy things. He 500 million subscribers and one of the biggest YouTubers ever. Yes, it. And Cody spent so much on donations and everything, yet everybody hates on him. There was a video talking about capitalism and how Mr. Beast is the front runner for it, saying that if people weren't poor, if people didn't need the money, then Mr. Beast's video won't make sense again because of no one has the desire for money. I mean, how does that make sense? Helping people out because they don't have it, because there is a lack of it. If we live in a communist system is more likely going to build up one thing, laziness. Because when you think of it, if some people work and I don't work and I still get the same amount paid as people who do work, isn't that like, what's like the point of me working? And then when everybody has to think like that, everybody becomes lazy. Like, that's why I feel like capitalism works so well. And that's honestly why I feel like capitalism works so well, because of you are getting what you work for, and I believe so much in that. Like, I hate the agenda of, use your money for good, use your money for this, use your money for that. I work for my money. I can use it in whatever way I want. And I'm not obligated to use your money in a certain way to a certain crowd of people, to please a certain crowd of people. You have to use your money in a way that pleases you. And then if you decide to please or help people out, that is good for you. So that should be the mandate, is what I'm actually saying here. That's one reason why communism will never work out. Because if everybody getting the same thing for different amount of work put in, then at the end of the day, what will happen? Everybody don't want to work. And then who is not the person at the time that, let me put in all my work and all my mind. And then communism also kills creativity. Because in most communist societies, you're not allowed to be creative. You're not allowed to want more. You are allowed to want as much as everybody wants. That's the main issue. You know how I ended capitalism and communism? I feel like this is like I said, who asked? That's the whole point of the channel. Like it's just my inner thoughts and how everything just interwoven with original thought on our media and how media agenda slash media stories are based on what the big man, the rich man, right? Number one, and number two, what people want to hear and bait basically. If you go on X, there's a lot of like baits, like most X comments slash most X posts that do well are just baits. They're either joy bait or rage bait. There is no genuine intelligent discourse on X. Like you can never get genuine intelligent discourse because you are more likely going to get a reply or a reaction from bait, joy bait, rage bait, because at the end of the day, what does Elon Musk want to do? He wants people to keep being on his app. So he will give you something that will cloud your brain to be overly thought about on. That's why I see people tweeting this, reposting this, retweeting it, then retweeting with their own ideas, then you see arguments on X because of they have been baited to it. And as much as I like to say, oh, that is wrong, Elon Musk should be boycotted, he's still getting paid though. Like he's smart enough to get this to work out for him. And he's getting paid. Like as much as I like to say, oh, Elon Musk is doing it wrong, Brody is still getting paid and he's doing it in such a smart way. And that is the thing where people are like, oh, he's manipulative, he's doing this in a certain way, doing that in a certain way. He's still getting paid because he's smart enough to understand that whether this system is good or not, I can still take advantage of it in a way that will benefit me and benefit the people that I want it to benefit. So you could call it selfish, you could not call it selfish. At the end of the day, it works out.